this the other day. I thought it was fun. I did a bit of divining with Magic the Gathering cards. Here's my commander, Flubs the Fool. So I'm just going to pick a card out of here. Hopefully it's not a land. It is an enchantment. So, Song of Creation. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Whenever you cast a spell, draw 2 cards. At the beginning of your end step, discard your hand. And then the flavor text is, she wept, not from perfect understanding, but from serene gratitude. The significance of playing an additional land on each of your turns. You can bring more energy into each project that you do. There's more energy available to you at this time than there was previously, where you could only bring 1 land in on each of your turns. Now you can bring in 2 lands. So you have maybe not twice as much energy, but you just have a little bit more that you're able to work with right now. And whenever you cast a spell, draw 2 cards. So whenever you take an action, whenever you use that energy, more opportunities come in for you to dream into new futures of what you're going to do next. And at the beginning of your end step, discard your hand. So I'm bringing in more energy. And when I use that energy, I have more opportunity. But once I finish a project, if I'm truly done with the project and there's remnants of other future possibilities, I'm just going to put those aside. Just because they're in my graveyard does not mean that I cannot call upon them at a different time. And again, I just want to read this flavor text because it feels significant. She wept, not from perfect understanding, but from serene gratitude. And so this card is also encouraging you to kind of wallow in gratitude. Not only can you bring in more energy, but when you take action, you have more opportunity. And even if those opportunities are not in alignment with what you're doing next, they still came to you, and that abundance is ever present. So I'm going to pull one more card just to see. And hopefully it's not a land. It's a land, but it's the Frontier Bivouac. So I'll work with it. This land enters tapped, add forest, island, or mountain. With a warm fire and a fresh catch, teamer hunters find respite in even the coldest climates. Even though this land enters tapped, I could play this on my turn. Because it enters tapped doesn't mean that this energy will not benefit me at another time. Energy isn't just what we're working with right now. Sometimes there's little things that we can put into motion that will allow for us on our next turn or our next project to untap that reservoir of energy that we have planted, like this seed of energy. Don't be afraid to plant a seed and come back to it in the coming weeks. That will produce energy for you later on. Maybe I'll just pick one more because I'm curious what we might do with this energy, you know? Okay, it's Eruth, Tormented Prophet. She's a legendary creature and a human wizard. If you would draw a card, exile the top 2 cards of your library instead. You may play those cards this turn. The flavor text is, she is cursed with visions of monsters and suffering, and all her visions come true. Now this as related to these other 2 cards, like, for example, Song of Creation. Whenever you cast a spell, draw 2 cards. If you would draw a card, exile the top 2 cards of your deck instead. So you're actually exiling the top 4 cards of your library. You can play those cards this turn. Now this is a lot more, almost like a kind of brainstorming energy of, we're going to bring in all of these different opportunities, different projected futures to work with the energy that we have right now. If we can utilize all of these things this turn with all of the energy, then we can make all of these things come to fruition. If we don't, this isn't something that we'll call upon at another time. This is almost like kind of like the point of no return energy, which can be very daunting, but with that great risk comes great reward. So do not be afraid of exiling your cards. Even if they are not something that you can play with anymore, the energy that you brought forth from playing these cards from exile just for this turn, and then completely casting them aside, you're actually getting a clearer vision through bringing these things up of what you really want and where your values really lie. The urgency of a card being put in exile maybe gives you greater clarity on the next move that you want to make. So this was me divining from Magic cards. We had the Song of Creation, an enchantment. We had Frontier Bivouac, and Eruth, Tormented Prophet. If you enjoyed this video, let me know.